let's get right into it. Number 7. Your dinner table arrangement is ancient Roman law. Every time you sit down for a fancy meal, you're following rules created by people who thought bathing once a month was excessive. Those nobles weren't just being picky about where to put their goblets. They were playing a deadly game of don't accidentally insult the king and lose your head. Back then, reaching across someone for bread could literally be your last meal. So they came up with this brilliant system. Make an OK sign with your left hand. That spells out where your bread plate goes. Make the same gesture with your right hand. And boom, that's drink territory. This wasn't about being polite. This was survival. Imagine sitting at a medieval feast where everyone's armed and slightly drunk. One wrong grab for the wrong cup, and suddenly, you're the entertainment. The crazy part is, we still do this today. Your fancy restaurant server is basically enforcing medieval combat rules every time they set your table. Meanwhile, most of the world just puts food wherever it fits because they figured out eating doesn't require a PhD in plate geometry. Number 6. Doctors are still drawing ancient Egyptian magic symbols. That weird squiggly RX thing on your prescription bottles looks like someone sneezed while holding a pen. But this little doodle is older than most civilizations. Way back when medicine was more like witchcraft with better marketing, doctors were scratching these symbols onto everything. Some say it comes from the Eye of Horus, an Egyptian god who got his eyeball ripped out during the world's most dysfunctional family reunion. After some divine super glue fixed it back up, that eye became the ultimate healing symbol. Others think it's connected to Jupiter, because ancient doctors believed planets could cure your headaches. Back then, your prescription might include ground-up mummy parts and a side of mercury. Doctors were basically writing recipes for disaster. But hey, at least the symbols looked professional. Thousands of years later, we're still using these ancient doodles to make our Tylenol look official. Number 5. Your keyboard was designed to slow you down on purpose. The QWERTY layout on your keyboard exists because early typewriters were basically mechanical disasters waiting to happen. Picture this. It's the 1860s, and some guy named Christopher Sholes thinks he can build a machine that types faster than human hands can write. His first design had keys arranged like the alphabet because that made sense to normal people. But these early typewriters were temperamental monsters. Hit 2 keys too fast and metal arms would crash into each other like a traffic accident in slow motion. The whole machine would jam up tighter than a pickle jar opened by someone with baby hands. Telegraph operators were going crazy trying to decode messages on these alphabetical keyboards. They kept hitting the wrong keys because related letters were sitting next to each other. So, Sholes started moving letters around, specifically to slow people down and prevent crashes. Then, a gun company called R. Eamington decided to start making typewriters. They were switching from machines that shot bullets to machines that shot letters. By the time someone invented better keyboard layouts in the 1930s, it was too late. Changing would be like convincing everyone to drive on the opposite side of the road while blindfolded. Number 4. Surgeons dress like they're going to a supernatural ritual. For decades, doctors wore bright white because it looked clean and medical. But staring at blood against white fabric was like looking directly into the sun while performing brain surgery. Not exactly ideal when you're holding sharp objects near someone's vital organs. Your eyes would get exhausted and start seeing things that weren't there. One surgeon in 1914 got so tired of his eyes playing tricks on him that he switched to green scrubs. Suddenly, his headaches disappeared, and he could actually see what he was doing. This isn't just about fashion. When you stare at red for too long, your eyes create a green afterimage to balance things out. It's like your brain's way of saying enough with the blood. Let's add some nature vibes. Red and green sit on opposite sides of the color wheel. So when surgeons look up from all that red stuff inside you, their eyes can actually relax. Blue works the same way. Plus, these colors hide stains way better than white. Because nothing says trust me with your life like walking into surgery looking like you lost a paintball fight. Number 3. We measure everything with royal body parts. The foot as a unit of measurement exists because ancient people didn't have rulers, so they used what was attached to them. No batteries required, just take off your sandals and start counting. The problem was, everyone's feet were different sizes. Buy land measured by someone with tiny feet, and you're getting ripped off. Imagine trying to build a house where every worker uses their own foot as a measuring stick. You'd end up with something that looks like it was designed by someone playing architectural Jenga while drunk. King Henry I of England got so annoyed by this chaos that he made his own foot the official standard. His servants would walk around with wooden sticks cut exactly to match the royal foot. So every time you measure something in feet, you're basically using a dead king's body part as your reference point. Modern construction projects are still following the foot size of a guy who's been dead for almost 900 years. Number 2. We tell time like ancient finger-counting mathematicians. The reason we have 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour comes from people who lived 5,000 years ago. The Sumerians decided to be different and count by 60s instead of 10s like normal humans. This wasn't random weirdness. The number 60 is basically the Swiss Army knife of mathematics. You can divide it evenly by more numbers than almost anything else. Try doing that with 10, and you'll end up with messy fractions that make your calculator cry. These ancient people had this clever finger-counting system. They'd use their thumb to count the segments on their other 4 fingers. Each finger has 3 segments, so that's 12 per hand. Then they'd use their other hand to keep track of groups of 12. 5 groups of 12 equals 60. The Babylonians took this system and ran with it. They even divided circles into 360 degrees because it's 6 times 60. These guys were doing advanced mathematics while most people were still figuring out which end of a spear to hold. Now we're stuck counting time like ancient Mesopotamian merchants playing finger games in the desert. Number 1. Train tracks are built for horse butts. Every train in the world runs on tracks that are exactly 4 feet and 8.5 inches wide. This isn't because of some brilliant engineering calculation. It's because that's how wide horse rear ends are when they're walking side by side. When people started building railroads, they used the same tools that made wagon wheels. Those tools were designed to fit into ruts left by Roman chariots, which were spaced to accommodate 2 horses. George Stephenson built the first railways and just went with what already existed. He added an extra half-inch for wiggle room since trains are slightly less agile than horses. Russia made their tracks wider because they thought it would stop enemy trains from invading. Spain and Portugal chose different widths entirely. Now they need special trains that can magically change their wheel spacing at borders like mechanical shapeshifters. So, next time you're on a train, remember you're riding on Infrastructure D, designed around ancient horse anatomy. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.